Hello, good morning. I'm making this video right here because I'm prompted to. I do a pretty good job, I believe. I've seen my videos and I think they're pretty top of the line, top notch. I know what I'm talking about. Can't argue with me really. I've had plenty of arguments, conversations, and stuff, but when I get on a train of thought, it's really hard for people to knock me off of it and be able to debate me. I can't remember. I'm sure I've lost probably a few debates, but I can consider myself pretty much a winner of many debates, and most of them being pertaining to politics in particular. So, what we're talking about today is how Hillary Clinton is not about everyday Americans, and really what I wanted to point out was how unqualified she actually is to be president. She just wants to be the first woman president. And if people like say, "Oh yeah, we finally get a woman president," what does that do for you if you get, say, a black president? We don't even have an Indian or a Jewish president here, so you don't even have not even one Indian, one guy who was an Indian. Um, or a Jew that'll ever be president here, but they'll go and hire. We'll go in the Democrat Party is evil. They went and got a guy who is such a socialist pig. He's got all these people professing to him and this and that. They're getting something out of the deal, but he's either dumbing them down by with the government. So the more when they did this, I was trying to tell my black friend Ben this the other day. They did this in Europe. They shower people with socialist programs, socialist gifts, so this and that, and it's a playbook that Hillary and Bill both had. Obama is using a lot of what I would say is Bill Clinton's playbook. Has been so. What they did was they eventually it led to a mass extinction of people over there. And people over here know that. My friend Ben was saying, "Oh, I don't think that's gonna happen." Would you put it past people? I was saying something about maybe them having chemicals in our food or something, this and that in the air. I believe that a little bit, but I'm not going to be all uptight. It doesn't make me all like worrisome. Because I was taught not to worry about death in particular, because I was raised in the military. So, military warriors who have to face whether they're gonna come back or not when they're out in the field or whatever they're doing. Um, it's their life's on the line. They know that, and they sign up for that, so they're prepared, or they should be if you're in the profession of doing that. But her and her husband and Obama is using the same playbook that the Clintons used, and they hate the military, and they have come out, and you can look it up on the internet, and you can find evidence all over the place that they hate the military. You think Obama really likes the military? He has he's used our military against our own military, basically. I was trying to like think, is that right? I was like, how I explain that? Well, it's easy. He's given our battle strategics, our battle plans, and even went beyond that and has given our enemies so much intel on our own troops, made our troops give it to them what they were doing. So I don't know how many troops you think are gonna survive Obama doing that, and him um, so him being black, so we can't say anything about how he goes and rubs elbows with sheer dictators who hit their people with sticks. So, so Obama, he was kind of upset about the invasion of Iraq and taking Saddam Hussein, who killed about 1 million people. Probably did kill if you add all the people up all together that Saddam killed. Probably have about 900,000 people that he slaughtered innocent people, babies, children, women, all included in that. So another thing here. Now we're going to go back to Hillary, right? So we're dropping a bomb on Hillary. Um, if we start talking crap about Hillary, see, we were racist just for having a political opinion about this Obama dude. So um, now, if Hillary, I really don't. I'm gonna protest her, even no matter what. I'm protesting her. No, don't. Uh, whatever. Do do a petition to make her stop being able to run. But I mean, she's in a position where she broke the law, and she should not have been able to run now because that goes to show that they're making laws, they don't abide by it. They don't want to respect it, but they think that we're supposed to. But it's for a politician, so how does that pertain to a normal citizen? It doesn't. So it's all retarded. It really is. It's ridiculous. So if she gets elected, we're gonna be chauvinist pigs. If we have a problem with her, we were racist with Obama. We're gonna be chauvinist with this Hillary if she gets it, and she's really evil. Back in the late '90s, um, just before I was a student senator at college in Oregon, um, I was made brought to my attention by the student government president and the student body um, that we had back then. Told me the man's name was Michael K. He was a good friend. He's a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him in years, probably 10 years. I haven't talked to Mike. So, but he brought to my attention about Hillary in particular, way back in like 2000, 2001, when I was going and seeing him lobby and other stuff like that. We took courses, mini courses at Portland State. We had a lot of fun. Um, but he said that she snubbed the Gold Star Mothers. Gold Star Mothers. I don't know if you too many people are aware. There's a war going on over here, and people want to kill us. And we've got some politicians who are thinking that they can rub elbows with our enemy and they won't kill us anyways. But anyways, the Gold Star parents are mothers and fathers of victims. I consider our guys a victim, military people. If they die in combat, I consider them a victim. I don't consider the enemy, the Taliban, Al Qaeda, this ISIS piece of crap. I don't consider them dying, getting killed, them being victims. I consider our troops, if we go in there and we don't obliterate them and come home safe, any of them that died, they're a victim, in my opinion. So the Gold Star parents are parents of fallen American GIs. So Hillary Clinton goes and snubs them when the Gold Star mothers, in particular, back in like '96 or something, her husband was president, asked her to come and visit with them, and she snubbed them. So she also wouldn't allow U.S. Marines. As far as I know, it could go as far as anybody in military uniform. She would not allow them to come into the White House when her husband was president unless they had on a regular suit and tie like the Secret Service. So that's another thing. I'm telling you, she hates him. And what I was telling you about Nixon. See now, it's not fair at all because she's pure evil and there's an evil agenda there. And there was a guy who actually, President Nixon, was actually our president. He was more the people's president than anybody because he fixed the economy. The economy, if you studied Nixon, how he helped the economy out. That's why I said if I became president, I think I'm more qualified than any of these people that'll run. Any of them. I'm more qualified to be your president here than anybody, and I can't get signatures. I can't get any political party to support me or anything like that. But I think I'm the most qualified person because I have knowledge to know how to pull us out of um, a rut that we're in, put in by liberals in particular. If there's a Republican president like George Bush, he has to side with these pieces of garbage. Like that's when the stimulus started. It was back in 2009. But he knew that people out here really needed to get a stimulus check too. So like if we would have got paid money instead of corporations got paid money, and they told us, let's say we'll give you all $100,000, you pay your houses off, or let's say they give us common people 500,000, half a million. Let's say you pay all your debts off, you pay your house off. That way, all the markets and everybody we ever owed, we can even go back to past debts. If you had a bankruptcy, you can go back and pay your bankruptcy, what you owed before you went into bankruptcy, and past presents. If there would have been the right person to come in that wanted to fix the economy right off, he would have not made everybody rich. He would have made everybody happy. So when they go to their jobs, nobody gets snubbed. Everybody does their work, comes home, and the government gets paid a phenomenal amount of money when things are booming like that. When they come in and they have liberals come in and put a hamper on it, it's very bad for business and it's very selfish. If you look at like Detroit in particular, that was a very heavy hitting, very strong American, you know, engineered place for factories and work and production in particular. And what the liberals have done to that in the last 50 years is exactly what we're going to get if we keep voting for them. So, um, anyhow, um, I'm going to switch over here because I'm out of thought. So I got to I'm going to screen share this real quick so I can go to these other conversation pieces. All right, Hillary. I got Hillary. See, starting in on here that they're trying to say that she's for everyday Americans. All right, sure. If she gets elected, we'll be labeled. We'll get a label on us. We'll be a chauvinist. Chauvinist. Here's a big one right here. This now she actually had something to do with this too, because she was around at the time when this was going on. It was around the time I believe around the time of her and John Kerry's transition. But this is here is what we have. So these people right here, I want to leave I got their article right here. This is persecution for this guy. They're trying to make him sound like poor innocent guy. This guy basically stripped his U.S. stuff off, dropped his gun, set it on the ground, put his bullets, gun, and everything, a helmet on the ground, walked off of an army compound. Okay, telling this person right here, Daily Tongan. Okay, he said this guy right here is a traitor. I was raised in the military, so I know what a traitor is. I know what somebody who abandons their post looks like. Uh, is this guy? Is that it? Is that who that is? It's Torch. look up here. LinkedIn. When I get there, LinkedIn. Daily Tongran. University of Torch. The Torch. Yeah, I'm just trying to look this person up because I think they're being really stupid. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like her. Okay, so it's Daily is a woman. Okay, who thinks Bardal is being persecuted? Now I'm gonna look this up. Now he's being prosecuted by the army, not persecuted, but we'll look at the two. Persecuted, persecuted, someone to hostility and ill treatment. So I mean, I know what persecute means. She thinks that the army's putting this poor old bird dog guy up on a freaking cross and they're crucifying this dude. You know, poor old bird dog. No, he couldn't have done it. He couldn't have set his gun down. You know, but see, race or political or religious beliefs. And that's not the truth at all. This person that made that story of him being persecuted, it should be prosecute, prosecute. It should be prosecute, institute legal proceedings against. Okay, that sounds more like what's going on with this dude than anything else. Nor not persecuted. So that's that's hogwash right there. So tell me now. I'm kind of at a uh, got a brain. I got a brain fart kind of, but at least I can ask a question. Here I just want to know. I just want to know what makes anybody think Hillary Clinton. What makes anyone think Hillary Clinton is qualified for the job? Okay, should I bring up Benghazi, and whatever else? I don't know anything else. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll just tell you. Okay, so um, we had my father got had been exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam, and so I mean, to this point, I'd say with as much knowledge of that, the government tried to hide it and allowed a lot of GIs that came back from Vietnam die. And they were pretty evil to them. They spit on them when they came home, and they just let them rot and die when they came back. So I see the same people that felt that way and did that and protested against Vietnam and talked all the smack back in the day. I see them in uh, political positions now. Barbara Boxer, you name it, any kooks from the left, they all, I'm sure, they spit on an American troop. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, Hillary Clinton has spit on a military person before. She's literally has hawked a loogie, just like all the mother pukes did when they came home from Vietnam. I guarantee you that she spit on them. So, um, anyhow, so the last thing I'll say here, and I'll talk about her, that pit kind of really irritates me. very much, is that Agent Orange thing. So she went in to Vietnam, and that when she was Secretary of the State, and she got some billions of dollars or something funds for them over there, which is great. If if the money is used to help people that have been exposed to the Agent Orange diamond. But I'm not necessarily still even at this point, even for helping out somebody who was my enemy. The French got us into that war, and then they turned the whole thing around on us and distracted the attention away from their French behinds for for being in Vietnam, occupying them, and for ripping Vietnam off for the rubber. Vietnam is high in rubber. They got rubber there. That's where they produce whatever you need to create the stuff. And the French were taking advantage of Vietnam, and then the communists got involved. So now the communists have the rubber instead of free markets and people like that. But the French weren't they were our ally, but they weren't being fair and in a free market. And England was being the same way too, where they had different places that were, um, um, let's say, where they would go in and they would own it. So they owned different territories, and at the time they owned them. And this is within the last 100 years. Vietnam, French occupied there in Vietnam for the rubber, and there's a big difference. They still label Americans as evil, even though we don't own these places necessarily to take the money, like the oil and the Gulf and all that is bullshit crap. That's crap. That's not even true. I yet to see us make a dime or a dollar yet off of the Iraq war. Our debt is so extremely high right now. You cannot convince me that we ripped off Iraq or any of these other countries that we occupy. Okay, but it helps if our economy is strong and whatnot, because it helps endorse capitalism. And they want to knock capitalism, but don't they think being occupied by a pure dictator who has the right to kill you. You get that? So we all have these opinions where you can argue for a guy like Obama, but if Obama got his way and they were all completely tyrannical and had full power, they could just have the police. They could order the police to legally come here and shoot us right in our house or on our property. Come here, load us all up into a crate or whatever train, take off with us. So people won't really realize exactly who these people are, but they're definitely not for average people. I guarantee you, they're not for fixing the economy or anything like that. They're selfish, and that's all they are. They just, so when people argue for these guys, they're just arguing for a person who shouldn't be looked at any differently than anybody else, and their whole entire history should ought to be equated into that. And they're almost chalking it up like Hillary has this great history, like with what? What did she do? There's over 50 people that have been disappeared, come up missing, or murdered, or dead. That had something to do with the Clintons. Throughout their whole entire history, they have had to. They're professional murderers. They really are, and people don't even know that part either. So, 4 people in Benghazi. I don't understand how people don't realize that that was Hillary's job in particular, was to keep those guys safe. and she let them get murdered, basically. That for whatever reason they have 50 Marines that are supposed to be at every one of our consulates in the world. And 50 Marines is um, uh, pretty pretty good. They're not supposed to be necessarily a defensive force, but they are supposed to be 50 Marines guarding consulates. I think that they should be Army Special Forces is actually what I think. Maybe Marines should be on call and be able to come in to anywhere in the world if an American anywhere is being screwed with. So you had an ambassador even. So in my opinion, I don't think any American's any different than a senator or an ambassador or even the president himself. None of us are any lower or less than that guy. We all have a duty to ourselves and to our own country and our own countrymen. And that's how I look at it. And if you stay loyal only to yourself and to your agenda, you lost me a long time ago. So I don't think that you're for me and average Americans here. Um, so you got Marines on call. You got Special Forces working with them. Make them work. Not like when Jimmy Carter was president, we had the same thing. You know, the Iranian president that Obama is doing deals with right now on this. He doesn't think they're going to make a nuclear bomb to strike Israel with. Right, he hates Israel. uh, George Soros, Obama, they hate Israel. They hate Israel. And that is bad. That is so bad. But, anyways, the president of Iran right now was a terrorist that held 100 Americans um, captive in Iran. They went in, they hijacked Khomeini, let them do it there too. They went in, hijacked a U.S. flight that went through there, and it had Americans on it. It had a couple American GIs on it too, and I don't know all the details except that I know that it was under Jimmy Carter and that the president that Iran has now was the lead terrorist that organized, that was in charge of going in and hijacking that and taking our Americans hostage back in '79 when Jimmy Carter was president, right before Ronald Reagan became president, and then they released all those Americans because they knew that they couldn't handle us militarily wise when Reagan was back there. And Reagan would have put our military's foot right up there, Iran's butt. So, and like I said, and they're not, because of liberals, they're not charged a fee on these wars whenever they come in and attack one of our buildings and do something to us. And we don't charge them. They don't get charged. So, the same guy who took our Americans terrorist is their president now. Obama's doing a deal with them so that they can make a nuclear bomb. That's the truth. So you got about a year left for him in there. And then you're gonna have Hillary in there. What do you think is gonna happen whenever somebody who only cares about being president, not about our safety, not about anything else like that, becomes president after the other one was just dead for 8 years? That's why they voted for George Bush. All the stuff that they said about him, that people can debate me on him too, but if they keep at it, um, they'll eventually start lying. They'll get into a lie where their lie, their story will change. You know, like the police takes people, or they try to interrogate them or whatever, then they split you up, and then they get this person's story and that person's story. My story will always be the same because it's a developed opinion that I have on George Bush. Okay, so they have a developed opinion, but it was all hearsay. So they don't really have a developed opinion. As far as I'm concerned, they just got told a bunch of crap about Bush, and it's not necessarily true. And I can debate anybody that they want, and I can tell them about it. George Bush stimulated the economy by giving every one of us a check. Obama doesn't give a crap. He gave us this health care thing. Now I have credence to say our healthcare is the shittiest. It is the most shadiest, worst, most nightmarish. Um, yeah, and it's only gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse because of Obama. Because we won't actually be able to repeal that, and if they keep voting for people like him, that won't ever get fixed. It was a good idea to give everybody free health care, but that's not even the truth. There's $1 billion, $1 trillion operation that's putting money into greedy, filthy scumbag union people, thugs' hands, and that's it. It doesn't put any money in our hands unless we're probably kissing their ass. But then eventually they're gonna come up with this who should we kill off? Who has a purpose, can do something. What can you do that helps out society? Because Hillary Clinton she'll tell you even it's not about the individual, it's about society. So how could people not get the gist of how barbaric that really is? You know, her to even say that, because that um, is talk that like Hitler would throw out there. Like, oh, it's time to clean up society here. Get rid of some Jews here. That's what it's all about. So um, yeah, I guess that's about where I'm at. I really wanted to write down every single thought that I had on this so that I made this a little bit more thorough, but I think I did. I think I added enough. I didn't want to go too far. I don't know how long this video is, but I know I wanted to keep it short, close to about a half hour. So anyhow, the last thing I'll tell you is when Hillary and Bill um, came out of the White House, they left there with moving vans. The White House is furnished. You don't move in there with anything. So why are you moving out? Why are you moving stuff out of the White House? Well, it turns out that they stole a bunch of stuff. Now you think America can't take care of itself and take care of this Obama deficit crap and all this other stuff. Oh, we call them black, so we can't say anything. Well, they actually went and got that furniture back. So I believe that eventually we'll go get our money back. We'll go do these things, and Obama, despite Obama, he'll short of him being put in a kook ward for things not going his socialist way, um, America will eventually prevail and will get theirs. And they're not going to be greedy about it. It's just time for them to get theirs, and they have to step up and take their prize. It's not about greed or anything like that, or making this country's poor over here. I just pointed all that out. So, anyways, Barbara Bush, the um, first Bush president's wife, Barbara, noticed all these different things were missing. So you got to keep an eye on the Obamas when they come out of the White House. Don't put the Clintons back in the White House. So the last thing here is that they did. So when they moved out of the White House, see, I know exactly what to say, and I know what dirt I have on these people, and it's all true. So right now, they're living off of the taxpayers even more than ever. So they get Secret Service. It's half of what they had. They get 10 Secret Service agents. Now, if they're president, when they come out of the presidency, they get 5. Takes care of them the rest of their life, that guards them. So what they did was their uptown Manhattan house, the Clintons, built a compound for their Secret Service, and then charged the Secret Service and the government for them rent there. So the rent that they charge for the Secret Service there, I don't know how they did that. It's because they don't have laws that say they can't do that. That's how people get away with overcharging, getting double pays, stuff like that. Banks getting richer, filthy people getting richer because there's not laws that actually stop them from doing it. There's nothing saying that they can't do it. So anyway, so they built a compound for the Secret Service in their uptown Manhattan house, and they're actually charging them enough to pay all of their mortgage. So the Clintons aren't even paying their own house payments and stuff. That's even more how they're even getting more filthy rich. They have something like I don't know. I don't know how close they are. If you put them all together in with Chelsea, how close they are to $1 trillion. If you can think about that for a second, like, all right, we're trillions of dollars in debt, and we got people out here saying, protesting, like, oh, that's no big deal, that's just money, oh, blah, blah, blah. But where's all that money at? Whose pocket is it in now? So they're going to make us even less average, have to work even harder, uh, die sooner for them so that they can be rich, go and party, do whatever. Mm. But all right, that's what I wanted to throw out there for a video. Why she's definitely not, and this this thing earlier, just happened recently with her server thing. It shows even more that they're making rules in the government that they don't think that apply to their self. They think, oh well, we were put in this position to go make laws for you. We're not put here to make laws for ourselves. we're here to make laws. We're here to make laws for you, common people. And that might be how she, can trick, try to trick people into thinking she's for Americans. Yeah, because she wants to make us laws. Instead of taking laws away. I was gonna say about uh, marijuana. I'm a conservative. I want to save the economy. I want to help that out. But I've always been an advocate for marijuana. So I'm saying like they're gonna make more laws that um, cover that coat um, overlap other laws, existing laws. Let's say, oh well, this doesn't pertain to that because or this law right here says you can't, but this law right here that this state says now you can have legal marijuana for medical conditions. Well, when I think that it should be regulated like alcohol, because right now they can even have a blood test kit made, I believe, fairly cheap to have, even maybe even in the field, like a sobriety test, so police could do a blood analysis to see how long you've been smoking. They say you drink one beer, give yourself about an hour. It's about the same with marijuana, except there's about the stronger you get, it goes from 1 hour to 3 hours. So I'd say there's about a 3 hour period of time when if it's at night, you could wind up being pretty snockered anyway, just from looking tired. So, but it's in the blood, so they can test that. And if you're sleeping behind the wheel, that's a charge in itself too. So people just want to get out of stuff. They don't want to man up to it, and and them keeping on doing that, they're gonna keep us down. They're not gonna ever keep us cooperating with each other and coming up with better futures and a better America and a better world that would follow. There's always followed America. What's a better world? The world's always gotten brighter and better the more brighter and better America is. So um, I'm a heavy advocate for marijuana, and that's a problem I have with both. Uh, Not the candidates in particular, but the the parties, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, because you won't see them legalize it, neither one. The Democrats are saying now, like, they want police to not um to not have what is it, not to enforce the law necessarily, but they're still keeping the law on the books. All that's telling me is that they're actually going to play it like kind of like the Nazis and the communists, by saying like, well, if you're whatever this, then you can't do that. So they're gonna say some people can qualify and some people can't qualify for certain things, and then they'll it's real tricky. They're not straight up forward with people, when it comes to anything. And I've always been straightforward with people. I don't talk sideways out of my mouth, So I was hoping that everybody here could get along. Everybody could see kind of where I'm coming from, why uh why I voted for a Republican so often. I haven't ever voted for a liberal. I still have that one, even though I might not vote in the next election. At least I still have that one. That's a plus in my opinion, in my book. You'll find as you keep electing liberals and Democrats, like Obama in particular, exactly like him, you're gonna see a downfall. So in that sense, I'm I'm pretty satisfied and happy with my past voting record experience and who I voted for in particular. I've always voted pretty much Republican down the line. At times my dad's voted a little bit off out of that because he liked the people he associated with them and stuff. But no matter how much I liked a Democrat person in particular, I just can't vote for them because even like Cory Booker, say he's a people person. He really is like a person who has a thing with people. So he communicates very well. But still, the evil establishment will keep anybody who means any good for anybody down, and they'll make him talk bullshit. They'll make him come on and talk shit about our guns and whatever, and you teach people gun safety. That is how you get to having them from misusing a firearm ever, is by definitely teaching them gun classes and everything there is to know about a firearm. Give everybody one, except for I do kind of have to agree with uh, people who are kind of mental, maybe not getting one, but um, each thing has to be more delved into than people do. People just go along with politicians or stuff, and they don't really realize that when the Republican people, conservatives, or whoever were on George Bush's side and Republican side, they actually thoroughly investigate the issues. There might be some, but we don't say, oh yeah, I support him on that. If we don't know what they're talking about, um, we'll either go and investigate it, or as Republican people, we won't say anything about it. And Republicans make up, I'd say, a good portion. The military itself is Republican. They're conservative because it stands for kind of a working class environment. But see, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, independent or whatever political, maybe even like make a new political association or some new political party in particular that can bring everybody in to take care of America. Just be like America First Party or something. America's First Party, you know. But we've got all these different things that are in our way of being able to get to the truth. See, and everybody just wants the truth. And as long as you keep people like Hillary and Obama's and these tyrants like that in there, they're gonna keep us far away from the truth. Every chance that they get to powder coat what they're doing and come out with something else, make it seem like they're being straight up with us, they will because they're politicians. But anybody checks out this video, I appreciate it. I hope that you didn't listen partially. Hope that it was very interesting. It was enlightening. Um, and I hope that it wasn't a waste of my time or anybody else's. If you enjoyed it, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Awesome. Appreciate the time.